In this video, we're going to learn how to solve absolute value inequalities. So what are our steps? Well, the first thing you're going to do is isolate the absolute value sign. That means move it to the left and make sure everything else outside of the absolute value is on the right. Then you're going to be able to rewrite it as a compound inequality. If your original inequality was less than, you're going to be able to write negative a is less than x is less than a, which is an and compound inequality. If it was greater than, you're going to use an or. So x is less than negative a, or x is greater than positive a. In either case, you will then solve the compound inequality you have written. Let's take a look at this example. If I give you 3 times the absolute value of x plus 1 is greater than 12. To isolate the absolute value, I'll divide by 3 on both sides. That gives me that the absolute value of x plus 1 is greater than 4. Now I can rewrite it as a compound inequality. Because it's greater, this will be an or statement. So x plus 1 is less than negative 4, or x plus 1 is greater than 4. To solve these inequalities, I'm now going to subtract 1 from each one. That's going to give me that x is less than negative 5, or x is greater than 3. What if I gave you this one? The absolute value of x minus 4 plus 6 is less than or equal to 7. Well, my first step has to be to get the absolute value by itself, so I will subtract 6 from both sides. That gives me that the absolute value of x minus 4 is less than or equal to 1. Now, because it's a less than or equal to, I'm going to have an and statement, or a compound inequality that looks like this. Negative 1 is less than or equal to x minus 4 is less than or equal to 1. To finish solving this compound inequality, I'm going to add 4 to all parts. That's going to give me 3 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 5. What if we had this last inequality? Absolute value of 2 minus 3x plus 5 is less than 1. Well, I'm still going to subtract 5 on both sides in order to get the absolute value by itself. And that gives me that the absolute value of 2 minus 3x has to be less than negative 4. But that should be worrisome for us because absolute values have to be positive. So they can't be less than a negative number. That means that this has no solution. So don't be afraid to answer that if this comes up. And that is how you solve absolute value inequalities.